Hi everyone. So what we're going to do here is take a quick overview into the contemporary issues in public education panel discussion activity that we have, what that's going to look like and what you need to do to prepare for it. So throughout the text in our course reading, we've had the chance to examine the original aims of public school in the US and to really think about how schools were originally set up and how they've evolved in the earlier periods of our history. We've looked at who got what kind of education, who had access to scholarly kinds of learning, who was trained for hands-on work, and we considered questions of access and opportunities for advancement within these contexts. Speaking of access, we also looked at subgroups of population within the US, and we've considered opportunities for children of immigrants and urban poor at the start of the Industrial Revolution. We've looked at the institution of the Native American boarding school and what these schools sought to do, and the lasting damage, really, that they've had to individuals and to Native cultures that took place because of these institutions. And we also examined school segregation and the movement to integrate schools. And the one theme that has cut across all these different topics really is that of equity and who has had the opportunity to use education for betterment and for advancement throughout US history. So now the most important next step is for us to look at contemporary issues in public schools because the present is always influenced by past events, and this is especially true when it comes to public schools. However, rather than look at current topics in schools from a broad perspective, we're going to focus it just on our community, just on Jersey City, Hudson County, Essex County, and the local area. Here's why. Don't know if you knew this, but in 1927, this university was chartered as Jersey City State Teachers College. And from that time until today, we play a key role in preparing teachers to serve children and families right here in our community. And so, how children are educated and the conditions and the policies that impact their learning and their chances to pursue their own dream ultimately, these are closely related to who we are and what we do as a public university today. So, we are very fortunate to have educators, teachers, counselors, and leaders from area schools to be a part of a panel that's going to expand our understanding of pressing topics in local schools. So I'm excited that they've consented to join us, and to prepare for their visit, you will be reading and viewing a few articles and videos about important topics in schools today. And then after that, you will communicate with your small group members on Flipgrid and either Google Docs or Microsoft Word or whatever document sharing app that you all have or want to use to basically write 3 group questions and then rank those questions. Again, the questions should be ranked according to the importance that you and the rest of your small group members agree they should have. Okay, so now let's take a look at the Contemporary Issues in Education panel discussion materials folder in Blackboard so you'll see what's where. You'll see here that right from the beginning, you've got your assignment description sheet, and this has deadlines for the Flipgrids for submitting your questions to the panel. And of course, it also contains your materials here that you're going to read or view. So lastly, let's just jump in, right? Start with the assignment description sheet that's in Blackboard. Read that. Move on to the materials that you need to read and view. And as you read and view, folks, be thinking about the questions that interest you individually. All the while, kind of keep that in the back of your mind. Then when you're finished, communicate with your small group members on Flipgrid. You can use Blackboard messages to exchange contact information and connect with one another, because at the end of this, you're going to need to kind of decide on the questions that the 3 of you all agree as a group you'd like to submit, and you need to decide on the ranking of those. So these steps will get us ready for our panel discussion.